and I'll keep you posted as I go on my journey. With my background in physical education, these are things that I'm not a doctor, but I've been to doctors, and I got a lot of good advice, but also I discovered a lot of things on my own, because you got to let your body talk to you and know what works and what doesn't. Some of the biggest triggers are, and especially for me, is things with a lot of chemicals on it. Look at the back of packages for ingredients. Actually, packaged food and canned food is processed the most. Maybe it don't even have those things, but if it has many ingredients on it, you know there's probably some kind of hidden, some weird names. Those are chemicals. Physical fitness and health. I've been able to help a lot of people in other areas, but when I was plagued with this vestibular migraine and vertigo and BPPV and possibly Meniere's and tinnitus, or as they pronounce it, tinnitus, with the ringing in my ears that I had for decades. A lot of people think MSG just means sodium. No, it's monosodium glutamate, which is actually a whole list of different chemicals. Causes, it preserves food. That's why they put it in packaged food. But a lot of it causes problems for certain people with vestibular migraine or migraines in general. You got to eliminate a lot of processed shit that I had. Even my supplements had too many chemicals in. Try to figure out some more pure type of supplements that have less chemicals in them. Read ingredients. Don't overdo it with anything, because your food itself, if it's not wholesome enough or not a whole food, stay away from long lists of chemicals and high sodium in general and high sugar in general. Those three things are big causes of dizziness that leads to vertigo, or migraines that lead to vertigo, or vertigo that leads to migraines. It's all connected. It's fucked up. Meanwhile, when I talk about the earplugs, I want to just give you a caution right before the video starts that there's certain ways to put them in and take them out. Be very careful, because you don't want to cause more damage. Read the instructions, read the whole thing, the back, the front, whatever. So if there's words anywhere, read them, okay? So ways to cure vestibular migraine. I realize it's there sometimes. It's just always been there. In a quiet room, I might hear it. It's probably due to my drumming in bands, being a drummer growing up. As the ENT is saying, maybe now it's catching up with me in the ringing. Find a pair of earplugs that works good for you. If it's barometric pressure that's causing, like I have also, and I said, really? There's such a thing as barometric pressure? I never even got headaches from the weather. Like people would say, oh, I got a headache from the weather. I never even had that my whole life before I got vertigo. Now it gives me a vestibular migraine. I feel tremendous pressure in my ears. Like as soon as I put them in, boom, the migraine went away instantly. So things like that work for me. But how often can we wear plugs? And if taking them in and out are causing more problems, sometimes I felt clogged when I took them out. And maybe I don't know, if they're not for everybody. I mean, WeatherX comes with an app, by the way. The app tells you when you're going to have the barometer, the barometric pressure change, and to put in your earplugs and all that. Usually a neurologist prescribes preventative daily medication that's for long-time use, that will build up in your system, stay in your system, protect you from more nerve damage and migraines. And the head and the ears, they're connected through blood vessels and nerves. The more you get migraines, the more your ears are going to hurt. The more your ears hurt, the more problems you get with ear, like ear pressure, the more migraines you're going to get, vice versa. And then there's the food triggers. I'll get into that. Just about all food is triggering me lately. I can't eat anything anymore, but you have to eat, so you have to find foods that work for you, because you need nutrients and vitamins. But anyway, so my story goes like this. I was out here in my yard doing exercises one day. I have physio ball and all kinds of equipment in it. That the crystals went into the wrong canals in the ears. We all got these crystals. If they become dislodged, it causes dizziness and even spinning. So for me, I saw one day, and it wasn't when I was doing my physio ball and hanging backwards, but don't hang backwards for long periods of time. Try not to hang backwards, even when you're in the salon or the barber shop and it's tilting you back to do your hair or give you a shave or whatever. I don't even recommend staying in that position at all anymore. That could have caused my initial dislodging of the crystals and so on. One day I'm just drinking something out of a bottle and then, just drinking water or whatever, but tilting my head back That's when the crystals started floating, and that's when I realized they must have been loose, because everything's spinning. I was, holy shit. And I grabbed a hold of a street pole. Well, that's my basketball net, but imagine you have to hold it until everything stops spinning. I said, am I getting a stroke? I might need an MRI. What the fuck is going on? No, I had an MRI and an MRA. I got nothing. No tumors. Thank God, nothing. So they might want to rule things out. I said, what the fuck is going on? Nothing. Loose crystals. The ENT diagnosed me by putting my head in certain positions and said, you see the room spinning? Wait for it to stop. And they moved. The crystals actually floated back in the right place because they maneuvered my head in a certain way called the Epley maneuver. I thought I was saved. Great. Done. That now, in case you got vertigo watching this, but mine went away. How? Well, vestibular therapy, which corrects the vestibular system, which is the ears. If you have problems in your ears, an insult on your ears, like loose crystals, they call it an insult or an injury. Even a blow to the head might have caused all this to start, like someone hit you in the head, like boom, like, or you hit your head on something. Whatever caused the initial problem, it could be corrected with Epley maneuvers, but still, you might need medication and you might need extra tricks. And I'm going through the video with the tricks now and giving you my story. Things that took away the ultimately most disturbing thing I've had from all this is the vestibular migraine. So what is vestibular therapy? Well, during all this, they recommend you go to a therapy to help your brain readjust by letting your eyes take over for your ear system, which controls balance and cerebellum. If you can't keep things in focus when you walk, your eyes will eventually take over and tell your brain, I got this. And then the brain will, finally you won't feel like you're on a boat. So I stayed active throughout the whole thing, and I went to this therapy. I didn't go to a lot of sessions. Some people might need a lot. They're not supposed to make you feel dizzy and bring you over your threshold. I mean, you have to stay at your baseline. It'll come back to your baseline, they say. So let's say they give you an exercise to look at something. They say, look at it, go like this. I mean, literally, those are going to be the exercises you do. That's just one example. Then they might put cones on the floor, make you stand on one foot, and then, put your foot on each cone by staying on one foot without falling over, getting dizzy, or getting nauseous. Excuse me while I try to abort the migraine. This is another method. You're starting to feel it. Relax. Take a nap. Relax. Sit down. And here's one more thing I wanted to tell you guys also. When you're feeling good again and you're ready to walk out there, make sure you have a good pair of solid-based sneakers on the bottom, not these running shoes where everything feels soft and light, where you feel like you're on marshmallows, because they want you to be light on your feet for running, or walking shoes. Like, actually, Air Force Ones, Nike solid, heavier bottoms, like maybe basketball type sneakers, or just better made. You feel the ground more, so when you're walking. And neurologists, they suggest this when you have this type of problem. You can feel the ground better. A famous neurologist suggested this, and you feel it more with a certain specific type of sneakers, like the ones I described. During all this, they recommend, help your brain readjust by letting your eyes take over for your ear system. I discovered this. Because even when I had my sunglasses on top of my head, they were still helping my dizziness while I walked. I said, why? It's on my head now. It's not on my eyes. Because they were on my ear. Because when sunglasses, how they hook onto your ears. Not the lenses, but the part, they hook onto your ears when they're on your face. They're actually closing the ear canals a little bit. Not as much as earplugs, but just enough. And I feel normal now because I don't have to walk around with earplugs sticking out. Type of massage chair. I'm like, no. I want to sit in the regular chair. I don't want vertigo when I get up. I don't have to tell them my whole story, but I'm thinking that. I just say, listen, this is good. I need to stay upright. I have a bad neck or whatever. And they'll understand. They'll do your neck. They'll do your shoulders and the trapezius muscles, which is the upper shoulder over here. They'll do that a little bit. And if you come out of there feeling better, and then your headache's gone, hey, tell them to rub your head right here. Where you get your what do you call it? your migraines and your head tension. And I tell them to rub my head on, right, with both hands, and listen, it's your massage, it's your time, it's your selfish time. You're paying for it. I tell them, listen, right? And if their hands are in the wrong place, sometimes I say, no, here, and I kind of push their hand back to like over here. I'm like, here it is. I'm like, hey, this is I need this, and that makes my migraine go away. It's so important. There's magnesium spray that you can spray on your neck, but now I'm on a medication, and there'll be a different medication depending on who you are and how you react to it. So I have to say, you go to your neurologist if it's going to be a long-term medication, and get the right one for you. Either way, it'll help your body chemistry, and if that helps take away your migraines, great. And some of them even help with anxiety and depression. Some of those meds are like the combo types, like things that happen post, like it's like almost like a post-traumatic stress type of thing, where you end up from the vertigo, you end up recreating episodes where things still look like they're on a far angle, or when you're looking around, you're concentrating a little too much and freaking out, and everything looks so weird and so messed up that you feel detached from yourself, which could cause problems too, and all that stuff. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Let me give you an example. Know that your brain is playing tricks on you. If you are, because of the vestibular system being knocked off balance, so now we have to continue with our eyes, especially after the vestibular therapy taught us to stay calm and use our eyes to correct. Say to yourself, without anxiety, take a deep breath. Let me continue walking down the street, and just, you pay attention to things you normally pay attention to. You look in the window, a nice store, go in the store. Go in the store. If you feel better, if you feel worse, go into a different store. Don't go into crazy loud stores, a lot too much stimulation. Maybe that's not your thing. Talk to someone, whatever. If you're walking down the street, don't go, look at that fucking sidewalk is going that way. No. Did we ever do that before we had vertigo? No. We just kept looking the way we normally walk, down towards, we were kind of in deep thought, not even giving a shit. Don't say, look at that, oh shit. Outdoor seating that's been created, and I got used to that too. I love eating outside, but the chairs sometimes are on an angle where you feel the gravity pulling. If you have BPPV, especially with the positional vertigo problem like I have, you feel like the chair's on an angle, so the sidewalk was a little uneven, and then you're starting to feel that pull. Well, first of all, try to find level ground, because in the beginning, before you get rid of your BPPV, it fucks with you. So try to find a seat that's on a more level ground. If you can't sit there, you can't. Don't start getting a migraine because of it, because your body feels like it's getting a gravity pull. But what makes things even worse, if you start hyper-focusing on everything, like, shit, I'm getting pulled because look at the angle over there. Does anyone else see how the sidewalk is like? No, it's like all of a sudden we became weathermen, like mysteriously being able to predict weather with barometric pressure, and we can now predict we became like contractor construction people, where we know if the floor is off by a couple centimeters because we feel it. This is weird shit, right? All from the fucking ears. Unbelievable. Don't go crazy. Don't freak out. Don't get detached from yourself. Stay in the moment and say, all right, I feel like we're on an angle. Let's not look at don't look at the angle. Just continue eating your food out there or whatever you're doing. Just relax. Take a deep breath. Nice sunshine day. Okay. You'll get used to it. Your brain will readjust, because you ignore the fucking freak out angle shit. Don't focus on it even more. Don't focus, oh, look at that building behind me is looking like that. No, it's not. It's there. It's just there. I'm here. I'm in the moment. It's just there, You get it? You see how this works now? A lot of the eyes has to calm you down. A lot of the brain has to calm you down, because what your ears did to us. We'll get there. I'm still recovering. It's been hard, and here I am now, almost fully recovered. You need time off. You need rest, restoration. Stay home. Do what you got to do. If you're working and you could get time off, get the time off, because you're in a hyper excitable state now. Your brain and your neurons and your brain is really trying to calm down, so you can get adjusted to the new system that your brain is creating for you to take over for the vestibular system that got fucked up. You need take off from work. If they give you time, one, because if you need that medication, you can't stop it. But there's alternative medications that will cause, that are less headache-prone medications, migraine, less. There's stories where people switch or eliminate. You got to figure out what's going on with your doctor, and faith and hope and God. Everything will work out. Believe me, it's starting to get better for me. It will for you. We're on our way to being cured. And we'll come back stronger than ever before. Even if we're not perfectly cured, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. Eye of the tiger. Later.